afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of What the Why with Barbara Ann on RVN Television. If you haven't seen us before, our show features conversations with diverse leaders from all walks of life about why they do what they do and how they figured things out. Maybe you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, or maybe you feel stuck and you want to get unstuck, whether that's in your life, your career, any particular relationships. One thing that all of our guests have in common with you is that at some point they felt similarly and they decided to make a change. And today's guest is no exception. Please join me in welcoming Jarde Allen, financial services expert and CEO of In the Moment Financial Services. Jarde describes herself as someone who is truly passionate about helping small business owners get their finances in order, and I've gotten to see Jarde a little bit of action recently. Headquartered in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, In the Moment Financial Services aims to work closely with individuals and small businesses to produce minority entrepreneurs as well as coach them in building generational wealth. They're committed to providing individuals and small businesses with financial literacy, coaching, and best practices, along with access to resources for minorities, while doing so with integrity. Taxes and bookkeeping can be very intimidating, but are absolutely crucial to run a profitable business. And In the Moment Financial Services sits their clients down one-on-one and educates them about their finances on topics that include building business credit, investing in real estate, tax preparation, bookkeeping, and more. Before founding In the Moment Financial Services, Jarde worked in management positions with Five Below and Enterprise Holdings. She holds a Bachelor of Business Administration, or a BBA, in General Risk Management and Marketing Management. Jarde and her company were recently featured as a success story by the Reinvestment Fund, a community development financial institution, or CDFI, based in Philadelphia that is one of the leading CDFIs in the United States. Jarde has gone on to contract with the Reinvestment Fund to assist other businesses with their financial foundation needs. And she speaks candidly in the interview about the challenges she faced getting the capital she needed to start, grow, and succeed in her business. As an African-American Black woman seeking commercial financing in an arena that holds more barriers than opportunities to accessing the capital she needed, she's leading the way for others to proactively address those challenges. I'm thrilled she's taking time out of her busy schedule, especially since we are at the beginning of tax season, no less, to have this conversation. And also wrapping up Black History Month with me. Two Black women working to change the financial landscape. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Jarde Allen. So, yay!
Thank you so much.
A round of applause.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
So, one of the things, you know the drill, I've now informed, as our audience that watches us knows the drill. After we go through all of the amazing things about, what you've accomplished, one of the things that I'm curious about is, I don't imagine that's what you saw yourself being when you grew up. So what did little Jarde want to grow up and be?
Well, my mom said that I always would have an argument or something to say back. So she would say, you're going to be a lawyer when you grow up. And a lot of us take what our parents tell us we're going to be. Mm-hmm. And so growing up, I always thought I was going to be a lawyer to argue back with people. But what I learned quickly is that I don't like confrontation. So that probably wouldn't be a good profession for me, but I always wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay. So how did you go from growing up and wanting to be a lawyer but not really liking confrontation to helping people with some topics that can actually be rather confrontational, especially when it comes to taxes?
Yes. So I think the biggest change happened when I was in Temple University. I decided to major in marketing because I figured that's pretty in my head, I thought it was super simple. I'm like, I can get through this. So I majored in marketing instead of going to law school or trying to understand the legal field. And once I got into marketing, I started to enjoy it because I was actually good at it. So I took that marketing skill that I learned at Temple University and started to apply it to different things. And here we are now that I am running my own business, but a huge part of running your own business is marketing. So that's kind of how that transition happened.
Okay. Now, running your business is no joke.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of people have this idea of what it means to be an entrepreneur. And they think, okay, I'm going to quit my day job and I'm going to go do whatever I want. Yep. And they very quickly find that that's not really the case. Or they're afraid to actually make the leap.
Yeah.
So how did you find the courage to go from the traditional job world? I mean, you were a branch manager with it. How did you find that courage to say, okay, nope, this is not for me. I want to go do my own thing?
Well, there were multiple circumstances that happened while I was in corporate America that led me to that final jump. And I think that those circumstances might be a completely separate session.
Yes, and unfortunately, believe me, so many of us have had them.
Right?
Really.
So I can talk about more of how that jump looked and what steps I took. So once I realized I was going to take that jump, what I did is I equipped myself with some skills that I knew people would need me for. So that's where taxes came into play. Taxes is a need-based business.
Yeah.
So that's something that somebody actually needs versus something that they want. So I knew that even if I got into taxes, that I knew there would be some money coming through the door because people needed me. So I decided to go to tax school, get educated about that, which eventually led me to opening a tax firm.
Mm-hmm. All right. And so you have this great idea, and you decide, okay, I need financing to take this to the next level.
Yeah.
So that you can grow and expand. And there's the marketplace. Mm-hmm. The commercial lending marketplace. And as someone who's been working on and off with community development, financial institutions, and the SBA for over half of my career, it still amazes me, the stories that you hear, and even having educated banks, there's still some of the stories that you hear about access to capital.
Yeah.
So tell me about how that was for you.
Yeah. So my actual physical business, which is providing small business owners with financial services, I started that on my couch. So at the time, I actually didn't need too much capital to start the business. I started on my couch with a laptop and a cell phone, and I was filming videos of myself saying, hey, guys, you definitely need to get your taxes done, especially if you're a business owner. Let me help you. So the actual startup piece of that wasn't much. Once I started to receive revenue from performing these tax services for people, that money I started to put up. So now it's time, hey, this thing is actually more than just a small tax business. Let me try to expand it. That's what made me want to get a brick and mortar. And so when I decided to go get a brick and mortar, that's when the barriers started coming up. Because it wasn't as simple as walking in a bank and asking for a mortgage. They wanted to see that your business was not only doing well, but they wanted you to provide your projections for the next couple years of how well you're going to do. So that was my first experience of understanding, like, wow, not just myself, but a lot of minorities get into these businesses and we don't understand what's the behind the scenes that we need to sustain them. And so that's what made me very, very passionate about helping business owners sustain their businesses, because had I known what a profit and loss statement was, or a balance sheet, or cash flow, or projections, I would have felt so much more confident walking into those banks.
I'm so glad you brought that up because, in fact, actually, in a series of seemingly repetitive conversations during a particular week last year, I had one woman finally say to me, you know, it almost sounds like the discrimination wasn't even at the bank itself. It was everything else that needed to happen that she never learned or was exposed to before she even got to the bank. And this is someone that had been working with, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but it was a resource partner of an agency that I had been with that had actually told her, well, for what you're doing, you don't even need a business plan, which was completely inaccurate and taps on what you were talking about in terms of the integrity of the process.
Yes. And everything you said was very accurate, because when I got to the bank, I consider myself well educated. I couldn't believe that I couldn't provide these documents that the gentlemen, multiple gentlemen, were asking me for. And they're saying, how are you running a business and you don't have this? How are you running a business and you don't have that? And I'll never forget that feeling. And I don't want another female or just business owner in general to go through that. And so that's why in the moment, we're very, very passionate, not only about offering free consultations to business owners, but we want to make sure they feel equipped, they feel confident. And so that when they walk in to ask for lending, they feel really, really solid about their business plan.
Which is awesome.
Because of what I went through.
Yeah. So how did you find your way to the reinvestment fund?
The reinvestment fund. So, again, I was trying to navigate literally on Google at this point. I'm on Google, like looking for commercial lending for minorities. And I had reached out to I even reached out to my own business bank account. So I said, hey, I have a business bank account with this bank. You would think they see all my transactions. Yep. They were the first bank, and I won't mention their name, to turn me down. So I came across this community organization, and I'll actually mention her name. Elizabeth France is the one who helped me through the process. And I remember telling her what I wanted to do, and I just knew she was going to say, well, can you send me over this document and this document and this document? And she said, that sounds like an amazing idea. Let's talk more about how you want to impact the community. And I'm like, you don't need my profit and loss statement and my balance sheet and my cash flow, and you don't want to know how many staff I have? She's
Not
like,
yet.
No, I want to know how you're going to impact the community. And she took it from there and really helped me navigate through the process. And that's really the power of CDFIs.
Unfortunately, I shout out to Elizabeth. Maybe
Yes.
we'll have her on to come in as a follow-up, since we're talking about her behind her back on camera to our audience. But no, the community is a huge part of what, well, it's in the name, CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution.
Yeah. And man, if all lenders could be that way, if all lenders could ask, where's your impact going to be? What's your overall goal that you're trying to accomplish? And if that was the actual thing, man, I think things would be so much different.
You're right. And the interesting thing is that CDFIs were created to fill that gap.
Yeah.
And even they aren't all equal, but fortunately the reinvestment fund is one of them.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, we are at the halfway point.
Oh.
So
Wow.
we're going to pause for a brief commercial break.
Okay, awesome.
So audience, please come back after the commercial break for more of our conversation with Jarde Allen of In the Moment Financial Services. Welcome back to What the Why with Barbara Ann. And you joining us after the break, we're having a conversation with Jarde Allen, who's the CEO, she's a financial expert and CEO of In the Moment Financial Services. And we were talking about how the reinvestment fund was there for her where other financial institutions really just were not able to be in some instances, because oftentimes what happens is small businesses, black, brown businesses, and other businesses from underrepresented communities and, often underrepresented populations don't have access to the information to be ready to have the conversation. So you go to the reinvestment fund, they ask you, about the community you serve.
Yeah.
So you could have picked any number of ways to proceed with your business. Why did you go down the path that you decided to go down?
So, Barbara, for me, it was very, very important to me that I was giving back into the community where I came from. So I come from a community where we typically go to a family friend to get our taxes done. I come from a community where there's not an accountant sitting at the table. I come from a community where we're not typically talking about financial literacy and end goals and real estate and investing at the table. And so for me, it was very important that I was giving back to that community. So right when the pandemic hit, there were small businesses popping up everywhere. All of a sudden, everyone had a small business. People that you didn't even know could do a side gig were doing a side gig. And I said, man, look at all these beautiful businesses being born, but what about the sustainability? Will they be here a year from now? Will they be here 5 years from now? What sustains a business? So not only do you have to have an amazing plan, but you need to have your finances in order. And I knew that a lot of small business owners did not know about taxes, did not know about bookkeeping, did not know about how to access capital. So that's what made me say, hey, that's a niche market that I could dive into, I could specialize in, and offer free consultations to people so that they could actually sustain their business.
And those free consultations turned into something so much bigger.
Oh, yes, it did. It's been a roller coaster, but a great ride since the pandemic. We would typically get the question of how was your business impacted in a negative way by the pandemic, but we were actually impacted in a positive way because people needed us more than they ever did before.
And so when you go to the reinvestment fund, when we talk about business expansion, that means a lot of different things. In your case, it literally meant space.
Yes. Yes.
So,
they provided me with a mortgage to purchase my own commercial building.
Wow.
And that's huge. In my family, we don't come from a family of ownership. So while I owned my first home that I was living in, I didn't own anything commercial. And breaking through those barriers, even where we're located in West Philadelphia, what I found out from so many of our neighbors is while there are Black and brown businesses there, they do not own those buildings. And I was one of the first people to own a building in the area that we are located, which is right on 60th and Chestnut in West Philadelphia. And so being able to push through that process was very, very eye-opening for me. And I wanted to now help other Black and brown individuals who were going to try to purchase commercial real estate. And that's what we do during the summer. We coach our individual business owners on how to invest in real estate.
So your space has multiple uses.
Talk
About what you're doing. Because what
Yes.
you're doing again is very different
Yes.
than what when people think of a financial services or a tax expert, they wouldn't necessarily think about what you're doing.
Right.
So
Sure. So at our space at 59th and Chestnut, first January through April, we use our space as a tax office. In that tax office, we also host workshops and events for people to come learn about finances for free. But January through April is just tax season. So after that, we pack up all the furniture, we put it in storage, and that space now becomes an event space for our community. So we rent out, so there's revenue coming in all year long into that space. And so April through December, people can have birthday parties, they teach classes, there's a kitchen in the back. We've had all kind of amazing events there. And then upstairs, there's a 3-bedroom apartment. So if anybody knows about house hacking,
health hacking,
house hacking is very important.
We're authentic here, so don't worry about it.
It's very important to make sure someone upstairs is paying rent for the space that you have, so you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
So that building is awesome.
Awesome. And obviously the reinvestment fund agreed because they actually reached out to you to work with other small businesses. So talk to me a little bit about how that came about.
Yes, so we just finished an amazing contract with the Reinvestment Fund. They reached out to us last year. They said, hey, we're trying to do a program where we help daycare providers get their books in order and their taxes in order. And would you be able to come alongside us? So we came alongside, I think, a total of 10 daycare providers, and we were able to help them get their bookkeeping in order, their taxes straight, and answer any financial questions they have. And the best part about this whole program that we did with them is some of the daycare providers decided to stay on board with us. And so now they are actually paying us for the service. They saw the value in it. Some of them have been able to apply for grants, loans, and funding that they would not have been able to had the Reinvestment Fund not connected us.
Wow.
It's been amazing.
Wow. Obviously, you've become an inspiration to others. Who inspires you to whether it's to go into your own business or to branch out in these unique but really meaningful, authentic ways to help others?
So, Barbara, I really stand on the shoulders of my ancestors. I stand on the shoulders of my grandmother, my mother, my great-grandmother, my great-great-grandmother, who didn't have these opportunities, but more importantly, that fought for us to get here. And so while, yes, I'm thinking about the future, and yes, I'm thinking about the next generation, when I walk into work every day, I am walking in with the mindset of, I didn't just show up here. Somebody fought for me to be here. Somebody literally blood, sweat, and tears for us to get here. And so knowing that what our ancestors went through to get us where we are today, and the amazing story of where we came from to where we are, it is my duty to carry that on, and I will.
Awesome. If there was any question that I hadn't asked you that you wish I had, what would that question be?
Well, I think it's very important to connect people to a resource. So I think the question that I would ask, if I was in your shoes, is how can people reach out to you?
Yeah.
How can people reach out to you? So one of the things that we offer, as I mentioned, is we offer free consultations where we talk to our clients. And so people can go right on our website at inthemoment101.com. inthemoment101.com, and they can book a free consultation. They'll talk to me or one of our experts, and we would love to just sit down with them and talk to them about their financial coaching, business coaching, real estate coaching, taxes, all that fun stuff.
And now that you have this facility up and running, and an expanding staff, and it's multi-use, what's next for you?
So as I'm continuing to build my team, I'm looking to partner with organizations that can allow us to have a larger impact. So 4 years ago, when I started on my couch in Drexel Hill with a cell phone and a laptop doing taxes, I'm impacting people one at a time, individuals one at a time. And what I found through partnering with organizations such as the Reinvestment Fund is these CDFIs, they see the need on a larger impact. And so right now we are currently looking to partner with other CDFI organizations throughout Philadelphia that can help us impact the need at a larger scale.
Okay, hear that? Including some of the former employers that I've worked with in Philadelphia. You have an expert here who's willing to come out, and it's so much more efficient
when you
can connect people together. But also for the people that are going through the process together, it almost creates, peer pressure is not the way I want to rephrase it, but almost like a mini cohort.
Yeah, that's what it is.
People get to meet each other.
Network and community.
Yes, and they can barter services and interact with each other. What's one thing you wish you had known before you went on into all of this that you can offer as advice to somebody else who maybe feels stuck in their accounting business or their desire to really truly effect change in their community?
So one thing I wish I would have listened to more. I feel like this goes around, you hear it all the time, but yes, you can do everything on your own, but should you do everything on your own? And so as an entrepreneur, we typically are gifted in multiple areas and we feel like we can conquer the world. But the minute I started adding on team members who were amazing at what they did, man, our business took off. So the advice that I would share with anyone who's thinking about starting a business or already running a business is just because you're doing that thing doesn't mean you should be doing that thing. There's people who are specialized in different things that you should allow them to do it so that you can be amazing at what you're gifted at. And your business will really flourish when you allow other people to help you push that business forward.
So what I'm hearing is someone who actually has a really solid understanding of what it means to be a leader. Because if you could do it all, you wouldn't need a team at all.
Yep, and my team is literally how we got here. My team is how I got to meet you today. My team is very, very passionate about, we have a chief accountant on our team, her name is Candace Wright, and I have an executive assistant, Andrea Edwards, and both of them are very passionate about pushing our mission forward, and they're very passionate about the community, and that's how I'm here today.
That's awesome. I guess one of the other things I would say is I don't like to use the word fail, because
falling forward.
Yeah, well, see, and actually what I was going to say, I stole from my sensei who stole it from somebody else. Anyway, FAIL can be an acronym for first attempt in learning.
Ooh.
Yes.
I've heard a lot of things. I haven't heard that one yet.
Yes, FAIL is first attempt in learning. So what would you say would be the most important lesson for you in all of this?
Well, if we're going with the acronym, I would say that quality is way more important than quantity. From from my clients and from my team. So what I mean by that is one of the things that I did not so well in the beginning is I hired a bunch of people, quantity, because I knew I was going to need a ton of people to help me, right? And what I found out the hard way is that that wasn't the best way. Now I have very good quality team members on board, and though they're few, the quality is there. Same thing with clients. In the beginning, I wanted all the clients in the world. But what I found out was that the quality of the client was the most important thing. And a few clients that had great quality was way more impactful to our business than a ton of clients that weren't as good a quality and didn't have the same mission or drive for financial education that we did.
Yep. Stick with that 20%, that 80% that takes up only 20% of your time, and don't worry about the 20% that takes up 80% of your time.
There you go. Yep, that's the right math.
Yep. All right, so there you go. I've still got my math brain's still working. So I believe we're out of time.
No,
so
that was so fast.
It always is so fast. So the funny part is, my next question would be, what's the best way for people to reach out to you? Feel free to go ahead and repeat what is the best way for people to find you.
So there's two different ways. The first way is to go right to our website, www.inthemoment101.com. Again, that's www.inthemoment101.com, and book your free consultation. The second way to reach us is you could call or text 610-222-6150. Again, call or text 610-222-6150, and you'll reach one of our experts.
Awesome. So thank you again, Jarde, for joining us today. Now, as for our upcoming episodes, usually I announce the next person or the next couple of people, but I'm still waiting on confirmation for my next week's guest. Seem to get into these little patterns. Guests who are watching that have said that they're going to come on. This is your cue to please go, confirm your appointments. Either way, I don't want to make a premature announcement. But if Jarde and other recent guests, such as Louis or Joe and Jennifer together, or Belle or Meredith or Joanne or Lynn or Tenor have been any indication, please believe me when I say you don't want to miss what any of our future guests have to say about their journeys. And if you have missed any of our past guests and want to check out what they had to say, you can watch all of Season 1 on demand, as well as Season 2 to date on demand on the What the Why page of RVN Television's website, as well as Roku, and coming soon to additional platforms. You have so many viewing choices these days, so many. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch our show, and please tell a friend or a colleague about us. As a reminder, What the Why airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, as well as Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And then, as mentioned, it's also available on demand and on Roku, and coming soon to additional platforms. And remember, whether you're looking to make changes in your life or career, no matter how big or small, please join us again for more inspirational and informative conversations with guests such as Jarde, who wanted to make a change and overcame whatever challenges or fears or obstacles were in their paths to find their purpose and live it.